Hi, Julia Watts here. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to make a card using some of the paints and the texture medium from the new Sentimentally Yours Flawless Media collection. We're going to be using some of the dyes, and we're going to just make a really nice, I think, octagonal card. So let's make a start. So the Flawless Media collection was launched a couple of years ago, and we had just had the ombre blending paste at that time. But this year, 2022, we've got some paints and some powders as well. So the first paints that Phil has introduced are the metallic acrylic paints, and hopefully you can see this is just on watercolour card. We've got some lovely kind of pigments and metallic effects going on there. This is just straight from the pot, and I'm keeping mine in my Studio Light A5 planner, so I've used some Studio Light dyes to cut out a blank page and to pop my little reinforcers on. And you can see that on black card as well, they really pop. This is the new Sentimentally Yours black watercolour card. This is the super smooth card here, and so you can see that these really kind of are very effective on black card. So we're going to be using the silver, the gold and the copper from the metallics. So they. So you can see here, this is actually just pure white card because I actually want to have a really bright white base to my project. So it's not as absorbent as the watercolour card, so sometimes it does move a little bit, but I think I've got away with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop some texture medium through the stencil. I might need to open a new pot, but we'll see if we've got enough in here. We might be all right. So we're just going straight from the pot to the stencil. And it goes on white, and it dries clear and glossy. This is the, as I said, it's the 6x6 Leafy Cascade stencil, which is also a new stencil. All the products I'm using, with the exception of some of the gems today in today's project, are available on my website, juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and I ship to UK addresses only. You can also find the products on Honeypot Crafts, and I believe they do ship abroad as well. I think there are one or two stockists outside the UK, but again, you need to check with the crew at Honeypot Crafts or Sentimentally Yours, and they'll help you out. So there we go, there's a nice good even layer there. I'm still going with my original pot. Clean that off. Okay, it's a good idea just to clean around the top of your pot like so before you put your lid on, and then you don't tend to get the lid moulded to your pot, because that's very annoying when you do that. So as I said, we're going to use metallics. So we've got the copper, the gold and the silver. Let's get another piece of tissue. So what we're going to do is just, probably from the lid, got enough in here, yeah. Just going to take a little bit of the gold first of all and just bop some around, technical term, onto our piece there. You don't really want to waste any of it, so I'll put some up there. And then we're going to take some of the silver next. Bop some of that in place. You don't actually need very much. Okay, like so. Then we're going to take some of the copper. go. I just need to take some out of there. That's far too much, but it's fine. Okay, so pop some of that around. Okay, that's absolutely plenty. See, I haven't used very much. These pots are 20 ml pots, and they're going to last you a long, long time. So now we're going to just spread some of this paint. Remember, we've got texture paste underneath. So I think I'm going to go with the silver first. I've just grabbed a little bit of the copper as well. I want to keep the gold separate if I can. I think I've just dipped my finger in it. And remember that because the paste dries clear, wherever you don't see any paint, that's going to be nice and glossy. But spread this out. You see, I've probably got more gold than I have the other two. Let's give it a good old spread now. Okay, don't worry, it's going to be fine. In my bucket. Now for the big reveal. Which did I do last? Let's see. I did the sides last, so let's take the side off first. Being very cack-handed here. And take the bottom one off. You do need to work reasonably quickly. Don't kind of put your texture paste in and then go and have a cup of tea and then come back to it, because you'll probably find that your stencil is actually stuck to your card. Let's peel this away from the bottom. Okay. Put that there for a minute. So there we've got pieces, and you can see that, I mean, it's not dry yet because it's still white, but you've gone from gold, a little bit of silver and a little bit of copper, and that's going to dry with a bit of dimension and glossy, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. That area there, I can see I didn't get any painting all there, and that's going to be clear, but that's quite nice breaking it up. But we've still got some left on our stencil, so we don't want to waste that. See all that lovely stuff that we've got on the stencil. Don't want to waste that. So I'm going to take one of the new mister bottles, and away from the camera, I'm just here behind you misting with some water, and then we're going to pop it face up, so with the paste facing up on here, and just take a stencil brush, and wherever you want to start, really, it doesn't really matter. You'll find that you're going to get a merge of colours anyway. I'm going to go in the middle, and I'm going to go into the gold, and I'm just doing circular motions to push the waste through the stencil. And then we're going to go onto the copper, because that's the darkest colour. And hopefully we've got some graduation of colour going on here. Let's just take that bit up there as well. Okay. So now when we take that away, we've got our toofer, which is quite nice to have. And again, that's going to dry glossy. It won't be as raised, but it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So I'm just going to tidy up, pause, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I'm all tidied up now. This is one that I actually had, which is dry, and you can hopefully you can see I've actually got more of a variation of colour here, because I've actually put the kind of silver there, and a little bit here, the golds here and here and here, and the coppers here. So you can do that. You don't have to have it kind of all separate. You can kind of move it around. But just remember, when you're spreading it, it is going to mix a bit. But you can see just there, there's no paint, and there's no paint just there, but we've got a lovely white finish to it. So that's the one we're going to use. And then this one, because obviously I'm more mixed here, most of this has turned out to be a coppery colour. So the one that I've just done is going to be more separated with colour, but they're both really usable. So we're going to use this one make our card. So put that to one side for a minute. So for our actual base, what I've got 2 octagons, and these are cut using the Double Deboss Essential Octagons, and it's the I think it's the largest one in the set. So this is again just the pure white card, and on the second one I've scored just 1 centimetre in from the edge, and that makes my hinge. So this will set. I'm just going to put some of the Sentimentally Yours glue just along the edge. And then pop that on there like so. And give the glue a chance to grab. Obviously don't have it too close to the fold, otherwise it's not going to lift it up too soon, otherwise it's not going to it's going to seep into where you've got the fold, and it's not going to fold so neatly. So let's leave that alone. So that's where you leave it alone and you don't mess with it, otherwise the glue doesn't take. So that's that. Let's pop a frame round here. So I've used the stitched torn octagons here, and that's going to go. So obviously I've got a little bit of playroom. I can decide where I want to have it. I am going to go slap bang in the middle though. And we're going to pop. I mean, we could decorate this with some stamps, which might be interesting. I'm wondering whether to do that actually. Yeah, let's do that. Let's change it up a little bit. It's always good to go off tangent, isn't it? So I need to grab my stamps here. This is the new rose blooms, Tray Chic rose blooms, and we'll bring in some of the Lustre powders because we've got metallics in these as well. So we can bring in the same string. We've got warm copper, we've got gold, and we've got silver. I like the fact that the metallics, we've got the same kind of set. I am going to dust this with an anti-static bag first of all. Because it's like when you use your embossing powder, you want to make sure that your powders don't go where any fingerprints might be. So I'm going to use this in my hand. Take the backings off. Not such a mess. My desk is always messy. So we're using Versamark. And we're going to just pop the stamp into the Versamark and run it along each side of the octagon. Obviously, I know you can't see very much at the moment. It won't be perfect. We're not going for perfection, which is just as well, really. Did I do that side? Don't think so. Can't remember. Be interesting when we get to where the end is, because I won't know whether I've done it or not, which could be interesting. What we'll do is we'll stop there, because I can't remember whether we've gone all the way around or not. Stop there for a minute, and we will do that magic painting kind of thing, and then we'll be able to see where we need to go still. It's not going to damage the stamp if we end up going where we've you know, stamping where we've already been with powder. So just take the tops off. Don't knock them over, whatever you do. And we want a little dusting brush. You will find these dusting brushes on my website as well. They sold in packs of 3. And this is silver and not Lunar Pearl, isn't it? That's Lunar Pearl. I don't want Lunar Pearl. I want silver. Lunar Pearl is just the pearlescent one, but we want silver. Let's see where we go. I have a feeling that, am I there? Is there anything there? There's nothing there. That's where I'm starting there. So I've still got to do 3 sides. 2 sides. 2 sides. Let's do the 2 sides before I get in a mess. That's just typical me, that is. Right, so we need a little bit going on here. And we need to meet just there, like so. Don't worry about your stamp because the powder will wash off the stamp, but do remember to wash it before you use it again. Lid. Now you can even take some of the powder that's on the piece of paper to fill in, and it is just like magic painting because it just reveals itself. Let's have some gold. Remember, whichever colour goes on first, that's the colour you're going to get. Better have a bit of copper as well, seeing as we're going for all 3. A bit too much on there. Okay. Just a hint of something going on around the edge. There's a bit of a gap there that I don't like, but that we're going to position that so that we can see it. We can cover it up with the top a bit. We've got some good areas going on as well. Okay. Right, put that where I'm not going to knock it over. Get my lids on my powders before I make a mess. Has that gone on properly? Yes. Yep. Gold. So, there's nothing more disheartening than knocking your pots over and losing some of your product. I hate that. Right, out of the way. Okay, so so we want to pop this on. First of all, what we're going to do is we're going to just mist it with a little bit of water, just to help it bind, really, because it has got binder in it, but it just helps it a little bit. So we'll have to do something else while that dries, which is fine because I've got plenty to do. Tidy up. Something else that needs to dry is our flowers. So for our flowers, we're going to have them looking like that. I've got 2 more somewhere, which I've lost. Oh, there they are. So we've got to make another flower that matches that one. So for this, we're going to go into our copper paint. Grab a little bit of water, and you can just go from the lid, which is more than enough. The paint is very thick, so it's not such a disaster if you knock the paint over, because it's not going to go anywhere. So just added a little bit of water so it's easier to paint with, and we're just going to cover the whole of our daisies, and these are the Delightful daisies, I believe, the ones with the deboss detail in them. It does actually dry quite quickly. It depends on how much water you add to the paint as to how long it takes to dry. The paint direct from the pot dries very quickly. There's one. I do need a little bit more actually. I'm only taking it from the lid. Oh, too much water. This one will be lighter, because obviously the more water you add, the lighter it's going to be. And of course with the metallics you do see kind of a bit of a streaking going on if you add too much water, but that's a different look. They make great washes actually, the metallic paints, because you've got that lustre going on. Okay, there we go. Obviously you wouldn't normally waste that, but I'm going to, because you can mist it with water and then pick it up onto your background pieces. Lid on, that's the copper. So we'll make our flower in a moment when those are dry. So we can also do, we're also going to do a topper, and we're sticking with the silver and copper and gold theme. Let's move those so I don't lose them out of the way. Let's get back to my stamping platform. So first of all, actually, let's dust with our anti-static bag. Let's remember what we're doing. I'll put it down somewhere. There it is. Wearing a nice bit of paint on my thumb, obviously. No, honestly, the easiest way to do this is to actually stamp first and then die cut second. But obviously when we're on the TV and when I'm doing things like this, I like to have all the die cutting done already. Obviously I could pause the video and then die cut afterwards, but that's kind of thinking about it really, isn't it? Let's put that one. Let's do the big one first. So I thought, because we're keeping with this copper theme, those are virtually dry now. Let's put those to one side. I think what we'll do, we're going to stamp with Versamark and we're going to emboss the frame, because we're going to use these Tray Chic mandala circles frames and mini sentiments. And so can't really butt it up to the edge. There's not a lot of playroom with this really, because it fits perfectly into this stitch torn circle. So we'll see how this one goes, because I've got one that I've done already, but if this one's better than the one I've done already, I'll use this one, but we'll see. I'm going to use this kind of leafy one, and they all coordinate with some of the backgrounds. So this coordinates with one of the DL background stamps. I'm going to pop that on there, like so. I've not yet managed to stamp these well. I've stamped them well, but they've been kind of offset slightly, because when you pick them up, the circle tends to move a little bit. We'll see. So Versamark, nice juicy Versamark, which has been re-inked. I do sell re-inkers as well as the pads on my website. It's a good thing to have, actually, a re-inker. Right, ink it within an inch of its life. Now, because this is the new silver lustre cardstock that I'm using, it is actually a little bit easier to stamp on this, because it's not as absorbent as the premium cardstock. So you do get a really nice effect, and silver on silver is absolutely beautiful. But I want to see this, which is why I'm putting the copper on. Okay, take this out of the way. And put my copper powder in there. Piece of paper. So going for the pure copper Sentimentally Yours embossing powder. Sometimes you do find that where you've kind of repositioned the stamp, some of the sticky from the stamp will pick up the powder, even if you've anti-static. So sometimes it's good to anti-static afterwards, but of course when we're dealing with a small amount of space with the magnets here, it's a little bit difficult. But that's actually pretty kind of central for me. This one might be better than the other one. We'll see. So the sentiment, I'm going to use one of the sentiments from the same set as well, but this time we're stamping onto pure white card, which I did anti-static, I'm sure I did. Pure white card and acrylic block. Did have a small one. Let's use this one. All my blocks are all over the place at the moment. So let's use my very best wishes. I don't know where my little tiny round one's gone. It's on my desk somewhere. Again, reverse them up. And we go with just straight on. Just give the give the ink a chance to settle in. And there we go. So this one we're going to pop gold on. So our topper has got all three colours that we've got in the background. Don't know how this is going to look, but hopefully it looks okay. Okay, so now we're going to heat set these. That's our copper. My heat tool going. Always a good idea to warm the heat tool up a little bit, because then it actually goes quicker and it just gives you a better finish. So wait for it to start catching and then just follow it. That one. I have just slit and run the embossing tool through that, so it's just as well I've got another one. I don't do that. Okay. That's a bit annoying. If I can just see it swiping through there. There's our copper one. Okay, right, so let's see where the flowers are at. The flowers are nice and dry now, I think. Oh, nearly. Let's just give that a little bit. That one that I did second is a little bit behind. Let's move the stamps out of the way and see where we're at. Got a leaf there. Okay. Right, so this is our base, which is nice and stuck now. You can see we can stand that up nicely, so it's nice to have a octagonal card. And we're going to have this on here as well, so let's pop that on. So again, this is using, you can see that the stitch torn octagons play really nicely with our double deboss Octagons, and it also will fit nicely with the Elegant Eyelet Octagons as well, and the Charmed Octagons, which unfortunately are out of stock at the moment, so I can't get any more. I'm not sure if Phil will reorder the Charmed collection or not. Let's see if we can get this all lined up. Looks good to me. So again, that's new silver. So this is dry enough for us to work with now. Let's get our foam tape on the back, and we're going to go for, because it's a frame, we're going to go with the 2mm foam tape. Let's go, so we don't make a mess of our craft sheet. Let's put the tape on the back here, because some of the powder might come off. Obviously this takes a little while to go around. 8 pieces. You can see that you don't have to trim down the tape at all, which is good. I hate it when the frames are so narrow I have to trim the tape in half. So the frame's been created by using one of the Octagons, then you miss one, and then you use the next one. If you do want a thin frame, then you just use 2 adjacent Octagons. And that's the same with any shape from any manufacturer, obviously. Last one there. Okay. I carefully take my backing off. And I'm wondering, I always do this, I always wonder second and don't look first. I do like my background. I was thinking of perhaps bringing in one of the texture dyes as well, but I do love my background with the texture medium and the paint, so I'm not going to bring in one of the texture dyes this time. I just want to see my beautiful background. So I know that I'm going to have flowers down there. I'm going to have my topper up there. So flowers are coming down here. I think we'll have our dodgy bit just so, but then we'll hide a bit of that. Oh, well, let's just go for it. Seems nice and straight. So you can touch this. It is bound, but what it won't take, the powders, is somebody just doing that, you know, running their fingers over there again and again and again, because it will rub the powders off. So now we're going to tidy this up. It's always better to do it this way around. So you just go in with your scissors at an angle and cut around the edge. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. It's suddenly gone quite dark outside. It was beautiful this morning. Hopefully we're not too dark. Okay. Side. We're all right both sides, so it's just the bottom here. Just be careful that you don't cut into your frame. Doesn't matter how it looks from the side. I'm not worried, you know, somebody looks from the side. You can have it looking nice from above. There we go. What a difference it makes when you cut it down. A nice press. Okay. So this is now going to go onto my piece here. Make sure we're the right way up. That's my side. Glue. Good strong PVA. Less is more, really, because the more glue you have, the longer it'll take to dry, so the grab won't be quite so quick, and you don't want it to be all wrinkly anyway, so you don't need loads of glue. So that's going up there like so. Let's see if I can get this straight. sure that's bound. Something worse than having your background bow. I think it's okay. That's where we're at. So we're going to use this one, which is because I think this is better than my original one. Yeah, definitely lined up better, so we're going to dump that one. But we do need to use my original one of these because I put the pokey tool through that one. So my idea is to have the flowers down here and then the sentiment up there like so, actually off of the frame. That's what my idea is. So while that's doing, let's just put this on. Oh, I dropped a flower. While this is bowing a bit, because obviously it's been heat set, I'm going to pop that underneath my mat, and we are going to shape this last flower because we need this. And we've got a sensational stamen here. So I'm just going to use one of these shaping tools, and this is one of the Vast and Creatives that I've got on my website. So on the back, we're just going to start at the tip and just roll the daisy towards you, like so. And it creates like a bit of a spider kind of effect. And a little tip, if you find that your ball tool isn't moving, you can, I mean, Phil, I think, rubs it in some perfect medium. Providing your ball tool's nice and clean, and if you're not too worried, you can actually run the ball down the side of your nose, and the grease that's on your nose, which I'm not suggesting that everybody's greasy or I'm particularly greasy, but your natural oils will lubricate the ball tool. So get this kind of spider effect. So I'm going to open those out. Like so. Give them a press in the middle and they immediately get some dimension. Oh, excuse my stomach. I have had breakfast. And we're going to just go in circular motions for the stamen, and it all pops up. And then we're going to pop some glue in the centre of one of them, which is probably far too much glue. And then they're not completely symmetrical, the daisies, so you will find that when you put them together, sometimes they don't sit kind of in the gaps, which irritated me a little bit to begin with, but I understand why. I mean, flowers aren't perfect. I don't think anything in the world is perfect. So we're going to then put another bit of glue in the centre and add our stamen in there like so. I do have some sensational stamens left on my website if you didn't get those. I can't make a flower without putting a stamen in now. And then in the centre, because obviously we've got gold, we've got the new silver cardstock, which of course you could actually just colour in a white stamen with the paint or with the Lustre pigments. But I've used the new silver Lustre card. So we've got copper, silver, and then of course in the centre what we're going to have is one of these new multifaceted flat back gems, part of his the Sentimentally Yours Crystal Gemporium. We've got the champagne ones here. You can, unfortunately, you can only get the gems from Honeypot Crafts. You won't let me have them for my website. You won't let anybody have them other than the TV. And obviously that's for a limited time. So you want those. So pick up tool, just warming it up, the wax tip with my fingers, and then I can pick it up and pop it in the middle like so. And then I'm just going to press down with my finger. Don't press down with your pickup tool because you'll damage it. And you can see I've got a bit of glue oozing out. That's absolutely fine. I'm not worried about that. But you could actually put more glue and add some glitter as well. But we don't want to hide those beautiful multifaceted pearls really. So let's get some tape on this. I'm using that. Am I using that one? Yes, I'm using that one because I've messed that one up. And the other one I'm using is down below, underneath. Where is it? That's it. Okay. So let's see where we're having these. So I only want my tape on part of the area. So we're going to have that overlapping there like that. So we just have tape down here. And we'll have glue on the other part. Oh, my stomach. Obviously it doesn't really matter which area, which angle it's at, because it's a circle. That's going there like so. And then we're going to have our topper. Just had a horrible feeling I put it in the wrong place. That's going to go there, like so. Then we're going to bring in our flowers. We've got some succulent leaves here, and we can actually shape these as well, which is quite a nice thing to do. So again, I mean, it has got a debossed detail to it. So there's a couple of different things you can do. You can either just pinch them like that, which is quite a nice thing to do, or you can run your ball tool along the back. So I'll show you the difference. So those have had the ball tool, and that's just been pinched. So whatever you want to, really. You can, which is quite nice, you can actually colour the leaves in with the paints or the powders, which is, it's very effective. Don't know if I can put, oh, I've got some here. On this card here, I've used the olive powders, and so that they look fabulous, I think, with a little bit of that, because that's got like gold and green in it. So that's quite a nice thing to do. So a little bit of shape to them. Then we're going to pop our leaves opposite corner to the sentiment. Let's get the glue on this first. And we're only going for 2 flowers down here. Give that a chance to grab. So I don't want too much of my leaves showing, I don't think. Oh, and be careful that you don't have it so that you can't actually stand your card up. Nearly forgot that. I'm used to not making proper cards. And then we're going to add our flowers. Let's get the glue on all the flowers as well, so it's a bit quicker. Okay, so let's have a couple down here, like so, on the frame. Remember that you won't see that glue when it dries. And then I thought what I would do is have a couple of flowers up here as well, around the sentiment. See if that wants to stick. And there we go, all done. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a little bit of a different layout. Obviously you could just put your circle sentiment in the centre and perhaps have flowers either side if you wanted to. But I just thought it might be different and you'd see more of the background if we set it up like that. So you can see we've got the beautiful paints in the background. We've got, you can just about see the shimmer from the powders on the frame with the rose bloom, and obviously you'll be able to write inside it as well, and you could decorate the inside as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Please like and comment if you can, and if you're not already a subscriber, would be wonderful if you did. And check out all my other videos from Sentimentally Yours, and also using the Flawless Media range of products. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.